This is Jamey. Welcome to the Pod Bay Door. John's with me, wonderful co-host. How you doing, John?
I'm doing okay. And cranky as ever.
Cranky as ever. Crabby, cranky John. Your shirt, actually, John has a brand new Pod Bay Door T-shirt. It's right there. We'll show that to Julia in a few minutes. Julia is also here in the studio. She has graced us with her presence, always making the studio look a lot better.
Thank you.
And smell better, too.
And smell better. But we welcome Julia back. Our sponsor this month is Mrs. Events, or MRS Events. For all of your event needs when you come to Las Vegas, for talent, for entertainers, for musicians, just for event planning, check those guys out. They are fantastic. Local company to Las Vegas. And it's mrs-events.com, and they can take care of all of your event needs. Also, if you want to contact us, in fact, we have a couple of email contacts that we're going to talk about today. But if you want to contact us, our email is thepodbaydoorlv@gmail.com. Again, that's thepodbaydoorlv@gmail.com. Anything you want to tell us, you just let us know on that connect. In the pre-show, we were just talking about something that I had never heard, and we're going to start off making Julia talk a little bit. Las Vegas downtown, they have tried many times, many years. Tony Hsieh and the Amazon folks I think are the last attempt to make downtown Las Vegas better. They have not. It is still pretty awful. But Julia had just recently attended a concert there, Candlebox.
Yep.
And they have some actually very interesting outdoor concerts.
They do.
That's not bad. And the staging is pretty cool, and you get to see the whole atmosphere. But as I asked her, the entertainers that are there, the street entertainers, none of us, I think, in this room are in favor of them. They kind of muck things up. However, they are great for stories for all three of us. But Julia, they've done something new.
They have.
Yeah, and I mentioned I can't imagine somebody is not making money off the entertainers, charging them rent, doing something, but they have. What have they done?
So to set the stage for everybody, it used to be just a free-for-all. If you felt like you had the need to dress up as Michael Myers from Halloween, have a fake knife, stand on a box, and scare people. I only have that example because that happened to me down there.
Wow.
You can go do it. If you have that need, go do it. Well, now they've figured out they can charge for this. So they've painted black circles on the ground. You have to rent a circle. I believe it's $30 a night, which is kind of a lot. I don't think these people make money. Do they?
Well, to my knowledge, I don't think it's changed. They are not allowed. They are not employed by anybody. They are not allowed to solicit funds because that is under the panhandling laws. They are allowed to make mention. They take donations.
Okay.
And so Mike and his knife can say,
"Feed the hungry."
I'll take a picture with you. I'm taking donations of $3, $5 a pick. So could they make $30? Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like hairdressers, renting a booth or whatever, but a black circle.
Maybe that's an idea. Maybe a hairdresser could rent the circle.
Well,
and cut hair there.
Yeah. I mean, I do like the ones where they're painting portraits, or one of them was a person who was carving. I don't know what the material was, but they would carve you and your significant other or whatever. If you're doing something like that, okay. But they had Pasty Girl Circle last night, where they had naked girls with pasties on their nipples, and they were just kind of swaying. That was one circle.
How big is the circle? Does it hold two people?
Two people.
Okay. Well, actually, how big is the pasty? That's one.
Too big. Then they had. Let me think. What else they had? They had some dancers.
Now these circles are the downtown for anyone who hasn't gone downtown during their trip. Downtown has this canopy that has these relatively cool light shows. Fremont Street Experience is called.
And now they have a zip line to make it uglier because you see somebody.
That's right.
Overweight.
Oh yeah.
So is that where they are? The circles?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's right there.
All the way along.
Wow.
So this is the city obviously charging them the money.
I think so. Yeah. That's what someone had said. But I don't know. Fremont Street, it was still pretty trashy. The people I
it is.
was
To me, it's
with,
still really trashy, I think.
Yeah, there's some significant changes coming. I mean, there, around where the D is, where it used to be the old Fitzgerald.
that's where we were standing.
Okay.
Yeah.
D.
And the concert was across the street, right at the event center. Is that where it was? That they call it kind of a grassy area now?
No, they
No, the
have
pop-up
a
stage is-
permanent stage now.
Yeah, right.
They're doing
Okay.
their summer series. So they've got
Right,
Godsmack coming, Shine
Right,
Down.
right.
They've got Sebastian Bach coming. They've got Flock of Seagulls
Yeah,
coming.
yeah. They're really digging into
Get the hairspray out of it.
Yeah, this is like archaeology rock.
Yeah.
Digging
Yeah.
up flock of seagulls.
Wow, that's all. Those are minus Flock of Seagulls. That's all kind of within your.
Well, I saw
wheelhouse.
Godsmack last year at
Yeah.
Los Regis,
Yeah.
and they had Los Regis this year, but I thought the lineup totally sucked, so I didn't go. The only band they had two bands I thought, well, they would be worth seeing were Ghost and Judas Priest, and then Ghost dropped out.
Judas. I thought Judas. No, Scorpion.
Scorpions
they
actually
retired.
toured. They actually toured with Megadeth last year, and they were actually the headliner. I was surprised. And then when Megadeth came here, they did it on their own. They were not with Scorpion, which was really good because they did their full set.
Now, these guys are in their 60s, right? Or they're heading
Oh
towards
yeah,
it.
some of them are. You know who is coming is Queen.
Yeah.
Queen's playing here, and Brian May still has the frizzy hair, except it's all
Yes.
gray.
Yeah.
And someone says, "Oh, I got old." Well, yeah, he got old, just like everybody else did.
The trailer just dropped on Rami Malek. He's playing Freddie Mercury in the sort of
is that right?
docudrama.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's amazing. Rami Malek for iRobot. Have you seen iRobot?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the main character.
Is that going to be a theatrical
Okay.
movie or is it a HBO, Netflix? Or,
No, full release. Full release.
okay,
Yeah.
good.
Oh.
But he plays Freddie Mercury, and he's significantly shorter than Mercury. But based on the trailer I saw, it was fantastic. It was amazing. Yeah, but they've got him. He's got the facial structure, but they've got the teeth and the hair and the eyes. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
he had those rabbit teeth.
All right, John.
All right.
And Julia, the millennials have reached the news again. I found an article by YouGov. Now, all of these are just clickbait, Jezebel, shitty, online crap. But I tend to agree with their assessment. They have found through polling that millennials have, quote, determined casinos are depressing and aren't using them. Live physical casinos. They prefer online gaming. And all the current movement where online gaming is now being approved across the country. The reason I bring this up is because in the article they actually mentioned someone near and dear to our heart, Mr. Sheldon Adelson, who is the number one sort of harbinger for the anti-online gaming movement.
Yeah.
And he said he's going to defeat it with his last dollar.
Oh, I hope so. I hope it is his last dollar.
Me too. Me too. But what do you now? Again, that's assuming millennials have the kind of power that the United States or the global economy says they do. But what do you think about them saying it's depressing?
They haven't seen any ads because in the ads everybody wins. Everyone's jumping up and down and excited, right?
Yeah.
I would think that what is depressing to me, I mean, living here, are the old casinos, and it's not the casino, it's the players. That they sit there with their oxygen tank and they're just defeated. These are people that are just ground down to basically just being, dust.
Yeah.
But the casinos, particularly the ones on the strip that are all nice and new and everything, they're noisy, but I never would. Depressing would not be the word I would use to describe.
No, what do you think?
Not at all. It's funny, when I was out last night, one of my friends works at Aliante, which is way out there. Mm-hmm. And he said he and a group of his coworkers had gone to the Venetian over the week, and they said they were reminded of a real casino. They said, wow, this is impressive. We work at the Aliante. It's kind of
local. We call it local.
Yeah, it's local. But then
shitty.
he went to the Venetian. He was just like, oh, man, this is the real thing. So, no, I wouldn't say depressing at all.
No, I think depressing is a misnomer. The way I would describe it, the minute I read this, I thought of it this way. When you see a movie, like when you're a young person, a teen, and you see a movie, and all the decades later, you remember that movie as being so cool. Oh, I love that movie. Mm-hmm. And then you see it again now in your 40s or 50s or late 30s, and you're like, God, that sucked.
Yeah.
That was an awful film. Why did I like that? and I kind of think that's the way I would describe it. Not depressing, just that our tastes have evolved beyond the camp,
Yeah.
But you're right, though. I mean, the Venetian, although we all have our little disdains for it, it is a lovely place,
Yeah.
and it's a gargantuan structure, and seemingly always building more. However, the article also mentioned that along with them feeling it's depressing and gambling online, that led to them discussing the percentage of suicide, of actual anxiety and depression that they're being affected by, and that the entire group, they were wondering, the article posited, should this negate them as a global economic force, just that alone? And I was, well, I guess if the entire group is depressed, them saying something is depressing is sort of negates that. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I would like to know who. I mean, yeah, they asked millennials, but are these millennials that have actually been in a casino? Are they ones that were, or is it just their impression of them?
Mm-hmm.
There was something I saw on the news this morning, because it's Memorial Day weekend, and there were a lot of people there, and they had this guy who probably was a millennial. He's standing there with his earphones in. While he's talking, take him out, asshole. Like I used to say, well, take your fucking hat off when you're indoors. Mm-hmm. Take your goddamn earphones out when you're talking to somebody. Well, this guy's standing there. He goes, I'm not going to spend a goddamn cent my whole weekend. I'm just going to mooch off the tables. I thought, where are you going to be able to mooch off anything anymore these days? Nowhere. You're going to starve. You're going to go back on the plane. Because the one thing you're not going to do when you're here is you're not going to not spend money.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it, Julia, on past shows. The lost leader is a dinosaur. It's dead.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of eke out some buffet coupons, and
but you got to spend.
Yeah, you got to spend.
You got to be a player.
You got to spend way more than you used to. Buffet coupons. The floorman used to throw those out like napkins.
Yeah.
But no, they're gonna. There's no way. I mean, I can't imagine living here. I can't imagine spending less than, I don't know. Am I wrong saying $1,000 a person?
No.
For a 3-day trip.
They said that
Not
this
at all.
weekend they expected the visitors, to spend $244 million.
Yeah.
Again, that's spending. They didn't. I don't know if that. I assume that would include some gaming and gambling in there. But yeah, I don't. Again, with these people, I don't know where they're getting their. I mean, how many of them have actually been in the casino? If that's just their experience, that they think that they're depressing. I don't play, but I go in there. I don't think they're depressing.
I don't know. The people's reliance on social networking has, I think, reached a frightening level. Mm-hmm. Are you guys familiar with the show? It's called, and please don't judge me for watching this, but I watch it because I'm just disgusted by it, and it's just kind of like a train wreck for me. But it's on Netflix, and it's called Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce.
No,
I never heard of it.
Never heard of that.
And cut away all the stupid shit. The current season is about this author who was a hard book author, much like Julia is, and she made a serious faux pas in public and kind of ruined her whole standpoint regarding divorce. And so she was no longer an authority on that, or recovering from divorce and being a new woman. So she basically cheated or said divorce sucked. I don't know, but she no longer could do that. So she decided to renew her life online, in an online magazine of sorts. In this particular case, the fictional title is called Lady Parts, and all it is just a bunch of cobbled together articles and opinions and op-ed stuff. And people are believing this, no matter what they write, they believe it. And I think that's what Vegas is not doing. It's not becoming that because it's not possible. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's no online fantasy world that Vegas can become. The only thing Vegas will allow is being represented online in actual gaming. But there's Vegas is a town of destination. And I don't know. I mean, the depressing is, I don't know. Is there anything that you go online, Julia, where you look forward to going online and going to that online source and you feel good about what the information that you just gleaned?
No.
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 And so you don't. Nor do I. There's no source that I believe, or B want to go to more than once, and I'm done. I mean, my phone, force notifies me of Google shit, and I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I mean, every once in a while I see something about movies that I think is cool, and ultimately it ends up kind of being true. But, I mean, our generation sitting here, what do we have? 2, I think, generations sitting here. We no longer source out online stuff. I don't know. What's the main reason your answer was no, Julia?
I just think any person can put whatever they want online. There's no master anymore. There's no mastery of information. I just think anyone can put out anything they want to. Yeah. There's no governance of that. Yeah. So no.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's it's everybody. They always say about everyone's, everybody has an opinion about something. They're like opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, and they're all different. And some people just are more feel the need, I guess, to always throw their opinion out there. Yeah. What really annoys me when I look at like Amazon, and I'll make a reference here to a comment that somebody gave a poor rating to Julia's book.
Yes. And
it bothered me because all they had done was probably look at the preview, and they don't like that type of literature or that type of story. So go ahead and say, "Oh, this was awful." You didn't read it, asshole. You didn't read the book. So don't tell me, that I shouldn't read it, or don't make another step forward in terms of censorship and say a book like this shouldn't be published.
Yeah.
Because I don't like reading about murder. Therefore, if you don't I'm not interested in your opinion unless you read the book.
Yeah, I wish people wouldn't do that. I know this person. I don't know if it was a male or female. I have a feeling female. I don't know why.
I would say female.
But she's basically said it was too rough or whatever, and she didn't finish reading it, and a book like this should never be published. Well, I've read things that are 10 times as violent.
I've seen things on broadcast television.
I know, on the news. Yeah. So I wish people wouldn't feel the need to slam something. If anyone out there has tried to write a book, it takes over a year. It takes writing every night. You have to you've got to really marry this material because you're going to be with it for a long time. And someone can just slam it in 10 seconds.
Agreed. And I think unlike the 3 individuals in this studio, I think more individuals of an earlier generation, or a later generation, I guess that would be, they would believe it. They're like, oh, maybe I don't want to read that.
Yeah.
Which is really a stark reality for me. But again, though, I mean, yes, I did read the person's review, and it wasn't a review. It was just a statement.
One sentence, yeah.
And like I said, I could flip on Chicago Med on NBC and see some brain hanging out of a guy's head.
Yeah.
And it's just as bad. But I would completely discount that. That this is an anomaly. It's been getting great reviews. I think it's a thing.
Yeah, I just haven't been working on it.
Yeah, and I've seen other things. There was a every now and then they'll discount the ebook for $1.99, and there was a biography of Karl Marx, and somebody gave it 1 star, and they said this is an evil book. That was their whole comment. Why is it evil? Why is it evil? Why? Because it's Karl Marx, and they've just grown up with this attitude that somehow he's Adolf Hitler, basically, and he was a philosopher. But nevertheless, they grow up with this. He was a socialist. He theoretical. His theories on communism. Oh, he's evil. No, he's not. Yeah. Man's been dead for over 100 years. So.
There's probably a large percentage that think he's the 5th Marx brother anyway. So
yes, probably so. Yeah.
But speaking of Julie's book, it's Carved in Stone.
Yep.
Vanessa Stone thriller.
Yep.
And it might involve murder.
Yeah.
So don't be offended. No, but check that out on Amazon. It's Julia Schupe, SHUPE, and juliaschupe.com.
Yep.
Coming out with some blog entries as well. So check that out.
It's called compassinthestorm.com.
Compassinthestorm.com, Julia Schupe. But check out that new book on Amazon. However, back to millennials.
Yes.
We haven't heard enough about those yet.
No.
Are millennials reading your book? Have you had enough books?
I can't tell.
Yeah,
I can't
the
tell.
analytics won't say yet. Will it?
No.
Okay. All right.
No, I can't tell.
Well, now, do you have? Well, actually, you're almost forced to do digital anyway, right? I mean, okay. But you do paper and hardback, don't you, as well?
Paper.
Just paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really expensive to
It is
do the
expensive.
paper, so
Yeah.
I only have Barren Waters on paperback.
Okay.
It takes a lot of time too. The formatting of the book
Oh gosh, yeah.
takes so long to do the paper, so I haven't done it yet for the others. But
All right. But the millennials, a proof in the pudding that times are not better in Las Vegas, times are not better in the United States, or at least as much as the marketing says on television. Mario Batali is now closing 3 restaurants in town.
Is it because of his sexual harassment suit, or is it because they're just not doing well?
I honestly, I would say on the immediate, the sexual harassment thing, but I discount that immediately because, Morgan Freeman just got clipped for
I saw
that,
that.
and I don't believe it anymore. I just don't believe in it. And one description was that Morgan Freeman complimented a woman on her dress and touched her shoulder. By God, if women don't want that anymore, I don't want to leave my house. It's ridiculous. But it could be, but I think it's not doing well. I know Carnivale was behind the 8 ball.
So how many years in prison do you think he should get? Yeah, Jamie, you're a pig.
I'm a pig. We Gal Gadot and Jamie being a pig.
well, I'll tell you, one of the people I was with last night was saying how he wished the mafia would take over Vegas again.
Absolutely.
So that it would just become, the mob would just come in and
Absolutely.
set it right.
You know, in a lot of things, I'm seeing a turnaround where things kind of go full circle. I think I mentioned before about my garage door. It went out, a couple of months ago. And so I had a guy come out, put in a new one. And he was saying, one of the problems that they have is that these companies keep trying to advance and add more and more needless features that you don't need, but just to give you a sale, to sell more. So they have them where, the controller has a temperature. It has it where you can hooked up to Bluetooth, so you don't no longer need the button that they used to come with. You could use your phone. Well, the problem was it could get hacked, and somebody could then open your garage door that way. So he said also when you add all these features, they're adding more components to the motherboard,
Right.
which means if something goes wrong and it overheats, your whole thing goes down. What is the purpose of the garage door opener? It opens your garage door. So there's been a fallback, and then what mine does is it has no features. It just does one thing and does things very well. Press the button, it opens the garage door. It does it quickly, it does it silently.
Yeah.
So he said it's going full circle where it's going back. I see that in my industry. There were so many, the testing had gone from paper and pencil to online. They have a lot of problems with online tests. All the students are tested at the same time. Right around the whole state. This is testing week. Servers crash. Now the kids can't take the test.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is we're seeing this rollback to paper and pencil tests.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of hoping that the day's going to come. We're going to realize we're going to roll back to the basics, and people are going to actually want to hold the coins in their hand again and not just do it virtually. They don't understand that this real world experience there and the feeling of
We're losing the tangible.
Yeah,
we're losing the tangible. However, of all the bells and whistles, my garage door opener doesn't have the silent thing. It sounds like a tank rolling into my driveway. But speaking of technology, I love this. Amazon, I can't say it because she's sitting right next to us, but the Echo had a huge problem recently, and Amazon, when, of course, the social networking on it blew up. And apparently, the young lady that is inside Echo records sort of everything going on in the room, and then only activates on what's being recorded when she hears target words like her name or the making a calendar entry or something like that. Well, apparently there was a perfect storm of things that happened, and these people were having a conversation, much like we are, and she thought she heard the trigger word and turned on and thought she heard the trigger word send this conversation to a contact, thought she heard the contact, thought she heard when she says, I'm ready, you want me to send this, right? And she thought she heard right. So this perfect storm it was an innocuous conversation that got sent to a third-party contact of the people in the room. And so now, it's the huge conspiracy. The Russians, the
Big
Trumps,
Brother,
Big Brother,
Sister.
everybody's involved. What do you guys think of that? Because we're sitting right next to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Alexa. How are you?
I'm AI okay.
That was Alexa, folks. Thank you very much.
I will not have one of those in my home.
No.
Ever. No.
I have two.
Nope. What about you, John?
I have one. I've got the Google, I guess it's Google Play.
Yeah,
whatever.
Google Home.
Google Home. Yeah, I have one of those, and every now and then I ask it something. What I ask it to do, I have a lot of numbers to add up, and instead of typing them in, I'll just ask it to do it for me.
Yes.
But however, I don't trust him, her, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I go check myself. Just make sure. Okay, all right.
Really?
You can add. You can add.
That's fantastic. So no echoes, no Googles, no nothing.
Not
huh?
interested.
Really?
Nope.
Why so? Number one reason.
I don't trust it.
Because you don't trust it.
I think they're recording things.
Well,
I'm
they
not
are,
interested.
they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
interested.
Well, what are you doing that you don't want to be recorded?
Oh, I talk about terrible things.
Talk about mortgages.
No,
Yeah.
Julie's a pig too. That's
I
that's
see.
right. She's a terrible
That's right.
pig, just like me.
Too.
That's right. There's a larger issue in town. We're not going to talk about it, but I wanted to get your quick opinion. Through our tenure at the Venetian and all of our working in Las Vegas, I can only remember one strike situation. And again, it was the Culinary Union
Yep,
a long
I
time
remember.
ago. I don't know if they went full strike, and if they did, I think it was maybe like an overnight thing. They couldn't solve it, at midnight, and they screwed around for a half a day. But by June 1st, it looks as if 50,000 plus available strikers could go on strike. Good. And culinary. It's all culinary and related.
And what are the reasons? I haven't been following.
Pay and insurance.
Okay.
Yeah, pay and insurance. And adherence to the contract. The employees, the culinary union workers want more money. The casinos, of course, don't want to pay any more money because the millennials are gambling. No.
Right.
So we've never been in a union. Have you?
No.
No. And of course, John.
No.
Are you a teachers union?
What's that?
Teachers union. Were you ever a teachers union?
No, because I taught overseas.
Okay.
Yeah, and when I taught here, actually, I'm trying to think if we actually have. I was only part time when I taught at College of Southern Nevada, and I taught at Clark College in Washington and Portland City College. I don't know if they had. I mean, they gave me benefits for that.
Yeah.
For a little bit, I was there.
Now, the days of Hoffa are dead and gone, and I think there was a time where unions had a place. I think they were good.
Mm-hmm.
I think they actually did protect their people.
Oh, a lot of ways. I think,
Yeah.
and that's the erosion. I mean, it's more than a coincidence that things have gone sour for a lot of people, at the same time that the unions have gone sour.
Yeah.
you know.
But we've got a pretty serious time coming. I mean, a couple 3 days.
Oh, yeah.
I think this town no longer has the confidence that they can override this. 50,000 employees, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, because there's not enough people in town to jump into those jobs part-time. Even if they can get across the picket line, which I don't even know how they would do that. I remember they picketed the Venetian.
Yeah.
Very briefly, and there were signs in it, but they didn't. They can't block entrances. But more important, we're looking like we might lose our brothels.
Oh, I don't want to do
Have
that.
you guys seen that?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that. Now, why, after all these years, would they want to do that? I mean, we know they're going down, that they're losing business anyway.
Yeah.
To like in the same way that the taxi cabs that are regulated are losing out to Uber and Lyft. And
Right.
I got to tell you, when I took a trip recently, right? I called Lyft to pick me up on Monday.
Uh-huh.
This is the second time this has happened.
I've used it several times.
Yeah, and they show up on time. Now, I was having a problem with the taxi company I used to call. I had to call them a day in advance. Sometimes they wouldn't show up. You know, and now I'm screwed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now, so I started using Lyft, and Lyft, yeah, they were less money.
Mm-hmm.
But this is twice now. Somebody has picked me up to take me to the airport, and they have never been to the airport before.
Wow.
Yes, I had a guy. He picked me up Monday. It
Wow.
was his first. Granted, it was his first day at Lyft, but he's 21 years old, born in North Las Vegas. His whole life, he's never been to the airport. I said, I understand maybe you haven't flown anywhere, but you mean you've never been to the airport? No, his first ride, this was his first day working at Lyft. He picked somebody up from Electric Daisy Carnival.
Oh my
Drove
God.
him back to
Trial by fire.
Henderson, yeah, and then got my call and picked me up. So I had to tell him how to get to the airport.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I have to say I've never been to the North Las Vegas airport.
Yeah. This was McCarran Airport.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
right. Yeah, I don't have
creepy.
enough ammo or guns to get to North Las
Yeah,
Vegas.
so when I told him it's T1, he didn't understand the reference. Terminal 1?
Oh,
I don't know.
wow.
I've never. Okay, I'll tell you how to get there.
Yeah.
Just follow your little map app there that on the freeway, and then follow the sign that says. And that was another one had picked me up before and said, well, "What exit do I take for the airport?" I said, "The one that says McCarran Airport.
With
That's the one. That's usually the good one."
It's a
Boy.
little plane
And
on
there's
the
a little
thing there.
picture of a plane on it.
Oh my gosh. You mentioned EDC. A quick reference to that. EDC, Electric Daisy Carnival, electronic dance music. I've been involved with it. It's actually pretty fun, but the whole event is crazy. 127 felony drug arrests.
How many deaths this year? Were there any?
None reported.
None reported.
They haven't checked all
Nobody
the
jumped out windows
portage
because I
yet.
remember there were a couple of
No,
suicides.
no
a few
windows,
years ago.
no guys getting hit by cars. One guy last year, I think, hopped over the fence and ran across the road and got hit by a car. They counted that against him. I think that's unfair.
Yeah.
I think that is an ancillary death. But no deaths, 128 felony drug arrests. Like
Wow.
felony, you're going to jail arrest.
Yep.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
there's like, what, 100,000 people?
Well, yeah, it's a small percentage.
Yeah,
but
but still.
Yeah, I can't imagine being a cop at
Were
that.
they selling, I guess?
Yeah, I think it was trafficking, and some people are so stupid. They like soaped their windows, and it's unbelievable how stupid people are,
goodness.
like not knowing where the airport is.
Yeah.
But the brothels, to answer your question, I believe based on what I read, the brothels are in dire straits and danger of being removed because of the moral right and their representing attorneys. They are saying that with the current atmosphere, Morgan Freeman, Mario Battalion, everybody involved, they're saying that represents more oppression against women, and it should be stopped immediately. Now, the brothel owners, of course, don't have the power of the NRA or even the casino owners, so they're very, very concerned because this is a cloud, this gauntlet of sexual harassment stuff that's surrounding our company right now, or our country right now, is so big that they're afraid to do anything. But the quote was, I don't know if this was a good thing to say, but I loved it. The guy, and he was involved in one of the brothels. I think it might have been the Bunny Ranch. Brothels, like Walmart and churches, nobody. Wait a minute. What did I say? Nobody forces you to go, but they are there when you need them.
There you go.
Brothels, Walmart, and church.
Yes.
Outstanding reference. I love that.
That's it.
I love that. What do you guys think? Are you offended by having a brothel in your state?
No.
And what are we, 40 minutes away from the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you worked at the
Have you
hotel,
been?
how many? I've never been out there, but I've
Never.
arranged brothel visits for like 3 guests. That was
Yes.
it in the years that I worked there.
Yes. You remember what they were called?
There was a cherry patch.
No, the actual going out. Do you remember what they were called?
Oh, I forgot what they called
Teddy
it.
bear runs.
Oh, that's it.
Yes,
That's right.
because and they loved it because the cabs and the limousine drivers used to get paid some pretty heavy tips.
yeah.
But I remember arranging cars out there, but we couldn't touch it. We after my little situation.
Yeah. And I never understood that because now then they really were putting down the moral gauntlet because it was legal. It's not like we were sending them out.
Yeah.
Cuban cigars were illegal, and we handled that anyway. Some of us.
Yeah.
But the brothels are perfectly legal. Somebody wants to go out there, I'm not going to.
Yeah, I mean it's the first one. Lyon County apparently they officially turned in their referendum with the signatures, and Nye County has just begun. I don't know why anybody cares.
Why do people feel compelled to take up these causes?
I don't know.
It's the same woman, the woman that bitched and moaned about the content of your book. It's the same type of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love democracy and freedom as long as it's mine.
Yeah.
And as long as everybody believes like I believe.
Yeah.
And that offends me, just the idea of a brothel, probably because, hey, I'm afraid my husband's going to go there some night because, and whatever, so I don't want to have it there.
Yeah, but I mean, literally, it's not like the brothels are here. It's not like they have built these establishments like the dispensaries. I don't know. They're in these little podunk cow towns.
Yeah, and it's not as if these women are being trafficked.
Yeah,
it's not like they're there against their will. The ones that work legally here in Nevada.
I thought the whole idea was that a woman should decide. So let her decide. If she wants to do it, do it.
Well, what happened, Julie, to It's My Body, I Want to Do It? What happened to that?
I don't know.
I don't know what happened.
Well, I guess it is even tied in some respects into the whole abortion issue, right? I mean, you don't have control of your body.
The other quote from the attorney, apparently there's a movement called No Little Girl, and it's an anti-trafficking sort of treatise against all this happening, and it's gaining momentum like the Me Too thing, but it's called No Little Girl, but again, it's like you said about the reference to Julia's review on that one ridiculous person. That's not correct. You're applying this really horrific situation that we have about trafficking to something that's not trafficking.
Yes.
Right.
And I don't know what's happened. But again, it's like Julia said, our lives must be so boring and banal.
I know.
That we're taking up other people's lives. That's why the Kardashians have so much money. They started it. We suddenly started to care about what's going on, But like Nye and Lyon County, I've been there. I've been to both counties. I've been there. I had a friend that wanted to get shot glasses at these places. Jeff. My friend Jeff. And I went there with him, and we got
That's all he wanted was a shot glass?
All he wanted was a shot glass, hand to guy. And I realized these places, I mean, only very few years ago, you could pay with chickens. I mean, they're so, antiseptic. There's nothing going on. But again, like Julia said, it's their choice. It's their body, and they're getting paid.
How could they be oppressed if they made the choice?
Yeah, I don't understand.
No one is making them.
I'm sure the young lady that called me a pig is going to let me know exactly why. So please do.
So that's why I'm glad we have Julie on the show.
That's right.
Among other reasons.
That's right.
But nevertheless, we started talking about these issues.
We have an intelligent, educated, a woman in the workforce, creative, and she, yes, thank you, Julia.
Yeah.
Well, then what's next? Are they going to come after the strip bars too?
Probably.
Of course they are.
They already instituted no touching, right? I remember when you could. It's not that you could, but you.
Yeah.
They didn't slap your hand. Now they're like, nope.
Yeah.
No touching.
There's the whole joke about the champagne room, and not much happens in those rooms. But yeah, you could put a hand on a hip.
Yeah.
Or at the girl's behest, her movement could accidentally, you could brush a breast. But there's some big dudes there. You don't want to screw around at a strip club. But yeah, I believe you're right. I believe touching is of any type. Although the girls may not want that to have gone because it helped their tips. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's gone.
It's gone.
I don't know.
Yeah.
See, John, our whole world is just crumbling around us. John.
Yeah, I know. It's the end of the world. When I was gone this week, I was in a bar and it was 10:30 at night. And they said, final call. And I said, that you will never hear that in Las Vegas unless it's like the last day of the year.
Did they call it out? I've never had that.
Last call.
Really?
And it was in the hotel. So the server came up, though, and said, okay, this will be last call. I said, 10:30.
What is last call?
Yeah, because I guess it was, the bars might be open, outside the area, but at least in the hotel, they were going to close it at 11. So last call was 10:30.
Wow. I've never heard that. I've never heard it except in a movie. Have you been in a place where they yelled out last call?
Yep, last call.
I remember being in San Antonio.
And everybody buys two.
Yeah. I was in San Antonio, and I was at the Hard Rock.
Yeah.
And with a friend of mine. And we went in there, and they were busy. The whole area was jumping.
Yeah.
And we left about 10:15, go somewhere else. Ghost town. Absolute ghost town. Everything was just rolled up. It's just like, okay, well.
That's it.
Really?
Wow. Well, I have some questions from listeners, and these are good ones. The first one, I have to applaud this gentleman's question. Clearly, he's listening, to our discussions.
Yeah.
His name's Peter,
All right,
and
Peter.
he came off of Podbean. Does John think language is influenced by generational subgroups or subgroups created by communities like Las Vegas? Now, I took a double take on that. I was like, wow, that's got to go on the show.
Read it again. Here.
Does John...
Yes.
You didn't say Krabby.
Okay.
Just John.
All right.
Does John think language is influenced by generational subgroups or community subgroups like Las Vegas? And now he didn't elaborate.
Yeah.
I will interpret what I think Peter meant.
Okay.
Do you think that the language that comes out, for example, millennials really don't, part of the discussion that I didn't really get into was millennials don't tip really badly. They really don't tip.
No.
They make no effort, because they
Yeah.
think that people are compensated within the bill. That is not true. It never has been.
Yeah.
But the two references to people tipping in Las Vegas are Stiffs and Georges. Stiffs, of course, don't tip. Georges do.
Yeah.
And they're the extreme end. Stiff is like, he just won't give you a dime.
Yeah.
And a George is really good. You keep this
Yeah.
guy taken care of.
Right.
I think he's asking, do you think that these influence language across the board? Are they lasting influences on our language? And because I know what John does as a linguist, and John forms tests for our students, our youth, because everything is about our youth. Do you think do you use language like this? Do you use?
No, I will.
No.
Generally speaking, even two-word verbs.
Okay.
English is one of about three languages that use two-word verbs or phrasal verbs. Something like turn on for the lights, turn on the lights.
Mm-hmm.
Or put out your cigarette, whatever. English, German, Norwegian. No other languages don't use those. When I see that if somebody phrases a term like that, how does the author build on this idea? I will strike it. How do they develop the idea? I don't like that. It's discriminatory, I think, to second language learners. Mm-hmm. They see the word build and they think of a building, the construction. So build on is colloquial. So I will strike those and always use the academic term or the more straightforward, like determine, or rather, how does the author, instead of build on, use something else.
Well, now speaking of colloquialisms,
Develop.
Take I'm down to the felt, for example.
Yeah.
That would never make it into a
yes, it might. It might because
really?
there is a state standard on figurative language.
Okay.
If there is context for what that means within the story, we could ask that. I will ask that. What does the phrase down to the felt mean as it is used in paragraph 4 of the story?
Okay.
Something like that would be acceptable as long as there is some context to kind of tell you what it is. So therefore, we're not assessing the student's knowledge of some arcane or old-fashioned expressions, but is their ability to construct meaning based on the information that is presented to them in the passage. So in that case, if they had said something along the lines, and that would be fine. We could have that because that does target it. But if the question is not clear, then there's we have the possibility of introducing measurement error. That we're not saying that, well, this student was unable to comprehend the passage because they missed this question. No, they were unable to comprehend the question because it was using a phrase or a colloquial expression that they were unfamiliar with. Therefore, you're rewarding the student that did know that, but you're not rewarding the student. You're penalizing the student that didn't know that. Yet, what we're trying to get at is whether or not they understood the passage, and if that isn't in the passage, then there's that possibility of measurement error. But to get back to, it's long been discussed what they call the Whorfian hypothesis of whether or not culture influences language or language influences culture. The standard one that they use.
I think that's exactly what he's meaning.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think that's what he's getting at. Every generation will use their own phrases. That's the way that they mold the language in their own shape. And again, it is to differentiate themselves from other generations. We see that in clothing, in hairstyles. These are ways you look at someone and you can kind of tell how old they are. Or, I saw a guy at Las Rages last year. I laughed my ass off. He was a guy probably 40, 45. He had a mullet. Now, there was a guy that, had the mullet probably when he was in high school when it was a fashion statement and just never changed. I know he looks like a horse's ass, but I mean, not that he didn't probably
Literally.
before that. Yeah. He looked really, holy cow, look at that guy.
What is it? What is it? Business in the front, party in the back? Is that the description of a mullet?
Yes.
Yeah. Business in the front, party in the back.
That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah. So in that regard, even listening to millennials you've had on this show in the past, sometimes I thought, what do they mean by that? My colleagues and I, the other day, were talking about this term hooking up, and it has a different meaning to a younger generation than it did when I was older, and even references. I was telling somebody that when I was in high school, the pretty girls, even in middle school, they were foxes. Right?
Foxes.
Oh, what a fox! Yeah, and then
Nice.
the homely girls, the uglier ones, they were dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a dog! She's a dog.
Dog's still around.
Dog is still around.
Yeah, it's still around.
But they were foxes, right? Listen to Jimi Hendrix, right? Foxy Lady.
Yeah.
The song. And you don't have to take an old dinosaur like my father. He'll still say, "Were there any foxy chicks?"
Yeah.
I thought, no. There's any foxy chick from the '70s is an old bag now. Right?
Yeah. Well, see, I mean, you can't even say that anymore. You're halfway to harassment if you say something like that.
Yeah.
So in answer to Peter's question, it's a resounding yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, it does influence life.
Well, Peter, thank you so much.
Yes, that is a good question.
What a question.
We appreciate that. Yeah, wow, that's going to go on the board there. Julia, this is from Stephanie. I had to go back a few because you're not on as often as you should be. But Julia, this is from Stephanie, and this came from Twitter. What was it like being a casino host? Now we've discussed your checkered and wild past.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't that bad, but
It's pretty bad.
Not a tremendous amount of jail time, but you were pretty
No.
wild. You were a casino host.
Yep.
And you described one situation which her question was elaborated a little bit on, but you described the VIP that you were sort of in charge of, and he broke things and threw things, and
Yeah.
he lost a lot of money. But we really didn't discuss your tenure as a VIP host. Tell us, how'd you get there? Is that the first job you had?
Nope.
No.
VIP services at the Rio was the first. And then you just start to get to know the players. And I've noticed something in the service industry, which I think is dying, which needs to come back, and it's speed.
Yes.
If you are fast, I was really fast on the computer. I was fast. I knew what I was doing. So then I was moved up into player development. Whereas now everyone is slow and they offer you 10 clubs and cards that you can be a part of, and everything's too slow.
Right.
So I moved up to player development after I'd gotten to know some of the players. And then it's basically, they let you know they're coming and you get their rooms ready. You start to develop a package of what they want. They want 2 carafes of orange juice, and they're very particular. Socks from whatever place.
Does that build into their ego? I mean, the whole thing that she knows everything.
So it's the whole no blue M&M thing.
Yes.
Okay.
And so you start to build a file on their preferences, and you whatever they want to do. Do they want a limo available at this time and that time? And then they come, and then you do kind of get in a weird spot if they don't game, because you have to approach them and say, this room is offered based on a theoretical
contingency. Yes.
Yes. They would be actual hours, and then it was an actual average and a theoretical average.
Okay.
So your theoretical average, I remember, had to be 38%. So anyway, you have to look at the time, and then you would comp based on which the actual or the theoretical average, and that's how much in dollar amount you would comp rooms and whatever. So if they weren't meeting that, you'd have to talk to them about it.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it was fun.
Was that a direct conversation? Did you just say, "Hey, dude,
get out there"?
Yeah, you would.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't have to placate them, and I'll give you this if you go out there. And was it ever difficult?
No, it's really interesting, and this is what I loved about it. So you're kissing these guys' asses, right? You're kissing their ass, you're bringing them in, but the real kiss ass is to the casino, because if you weren't making the casino happy, you would say, nope, you're not playing enough, and they'd be like, oh yeah, because they don't want to lose this VIP status that they have.
Right.
So the real control person is the casino always.
Sure.
And they will cow down to the casino, and they'll say, if they're not playing, they definitely don't want to lose this, sense of self that they have, this ego. So they'll make sure that they go out and play to maintain it.
You had mentioned speed.
Yeah.
Why do you think other people were slower, or is it just that there's a process? We learned that in our own job, right?
Yeah.
There is a process, and you do it enough times, and you become really efficient at it, and you become pretty quick at it. That's why you could check somebody in. Somebody's been there, and they're not, with two fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was it because you were younger then, and maybe were the other co-hosts older, and they just couldn't adapt to the new methods? You think?
Yeah, a little
or
bit.
Or they just kind of were just burned out and whatever.
I think just burned out, and I don't know. I'm pretty cynical when it comes to the workforce in the United States, but I feel like many people are not great at their jobs. I've noticed that in many different industries. So I don't know. I just always try and be the best and the fastest, and that's how I moved up.
Well, with the current generations, I think that they may have their finger quite literally on the pulse of being fast, because they're used to the applications that are streaming out of all the developers. But the one thing I've noticed where speed and then mastery of your job combine is interaction with the person. Because if you don't assess, in Julia's job and all of our jobs at the time, if you don't assess exactly what this person is needing, wanting, or desiring, you can't go fast, because then you're pissing around trying to find out what's going on. But I think that the current and upcoming generations are afraid to deal with anything. They don't like talking to people, and they're buried in these applications. But I think you mentioned it earlier but also, probably much different than when you first got into hosting. There's too much. There's 3 different VIP cards that you have to file for and do all kind of crap just to get them going. I mean, I have a card for grocery stores, and it's just ridiculous what we rely on now. But
one thing I'll say to Stephanie in answer to her question is, it is a young person's occupation. I mean, you are expected to party with these people. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what night it is. If they want to go to Club Rio on a Tuesday night until 3 a.m., you're expected to go.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do it nowadays, but it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, did you ever host club host? You ever did?
No.
No. Mm-mm. That's a whole different world.
Yeah.
Because there's no benefit. You're not really dealing with VIPs per se. You're just dealing with whoever got scraped up enough to have a Grey Goose bottle at the table. But I don't know. Do you miss it? Do you miss any part of being a concierge, John?
I miss working with you two.
Yeah, I do too. That's the only thing.
We were the night crew.
We were the night crew.
Yes,
we were.
Yes, I was 3 to 11. Julia was 4 to 12. You were 5 to 1.
That's right.
Sometimes 3 to 1. My last year is 3 to 1.
Oh, is that right?
I did 4 10s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did 4 10s.
Okay,
so then you went to days.
Yeah, I had to go to days after Jill was born.
Yeah.
Which it was different.
Yeah.
The day crew was different because we had different requests.
Yeah.
But they were good people to work with too.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing
I used to
miss,
think that was funny. What is it that you miss?
One thing I miss is just being able to go to a job for 8 hours and leave that job.
Yeah.
I mean, now my current occupation, I get home, eat dinner, jump back on the computer, shift number 2. I am literally working like 13 hours a day, or something horrible like that. And, we used to just have as much fun as we could manage and then just walk away.
Yeah, because it really was a job of same shit, different day.
Yeah.
Because in most cases, you had one encounter with the guest, maybe 2. You might have had that guest from hell that was just a total burr in your ass. It's like Sam Wysocki that Jamey had that one weekend. Everything would turn around. Wysocki wanted something from Jamey or something. And we laughed like hell because it was like, oh, geez, this guy again? Yeah. And it was like a half a dozen. But it was a weekend, and then he's gone and back to wherever he was. Yeah. But then there's another Sam Wysocki. He's just called something else, you know. Yeah. Bert Silverspoon.
It definitely was Groundhog Day. I mean, it was tough sometimes, but I appreciate what you said, John. It was great working with you guys too. But I don't know, what do I miss? I mean, beyond the camaraderie.
I think you missed the flowers you got to take photos of. I think that's what it was. You got to take the pictures of the flowers.
I do
kind of
remember that.
strengthened my career as a commercial photographer, as a concierge. So yeah, what people don't realize is that one of the concierge is not a glamorous job. I've already explained this to everybody. It seems glamorous, but it's not.
Nope.
One of the requirements of a concierge in Las Vegas is spending half a shift, if not a full shift, answering the phones.
Yeah.
And I would say I am not inaccurate in saying 85% of the calls I received had nothing to do with what I did. It was just like a hockey goalie just fending away. Yes, the bathroom is located here. Yes, the pool is on this floor. Yes, they serve a hamburger and food service.
Or sometimes I remember I had somebody call and they had a reservation because they just called made the reservation on the phone and then asked to be sent down to me. And they were asking what the weather report would be, and they were coming in like 5 months. I can say, well, I can tell you about what it's going to be like, but there's no guarantee. What it's going to be like when you're here. You're going to have to find that out when you...
Do you think during, if not soon after we left, that it became a female-dominated industry, concierging?
Yes.
You do? Okay. Because I had somebody correct me and said, that's absolutely not true. And I said, whoa, let me see some numbers. Because I was there. I watched it. And I have, as I've explained many times, I have the misfortune of going to the Venetian often now as a photographer, and I pass by our old digs, and I don't see a male in the place.
Yeah, I saw one guy there, but even when we were there, how many guys we have? There was you, there was Wayne,
Wayne, me,
there was me
you,
and
Fred.
And then we had some
Stan.
Well, yeah, Stan goes either way. We had Jay.
Jay
goes either way.
Yeah.
I got to tell you a funny Jay story because we talk about concierge isn't glamorous. It sounds glamorous with the name and everything.
And we dressed well.
Yes, we dressed well, but that we didn't have a manager. We had a chef, and it's just like, oh, what are you cooking today? It's just like, oh, how pretentious. So one time Jay got on the phone, and he called over at the Four Seasons.
Yes.
And he said, is this a concierge? Said like, he goes, now, do you say concierge or concierge? Because they had such a small clientele over there. They always seemed to be a little snootier than we were.
Yeah. Oh, and they were all Claydor. Our last episode.
I heard you talk about Claydor. That is Claydor, so silly.
Yeah, it's an online.
Yeah.
It's like becoming a minister online. It's
Well,
silly.
when you do have the Claydor, you are much better at telling people the times that the fountain goes off.
Yes.
Or the thing that used to get me, and I still hear this, and it's interesting. People use the phrase "quick question." I have a quick question for you. Just because a question is you can say it quickly and it's a short question doesn't mean that it's a quick question if the answer is long. Just a quick question for you. What shows are playing tonight? Well, that's going to take me 10 minutes to go over everything, right? That's not a quick question. It was quick for you to ask it, but it's going to take me a long time to answer.
Remember when we would be just about to close for the evening?
Yes.
And we would get that call. I'm coming for 5 evenings. I'd like a show and a dinner reservation for every evening. We'd be like...
Yeah, and then they couldn't decide. Wait a minute.
No.
Now, what night again? Did we say Gladys night? Yeah, and...
I'm sorry. You've reached the concierge desk in error.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of booking me 5... What's good to eat?
Yeah. What's good to eat?
Yeah.
Apparently nothing Mario Batali makes.
Yes, right. Right. If you're really into shit on rye, you're going in this.
Yeah, right.
What kind of food?
Yeah.
I don't know. But we've seen a lot of changes, and I think that even being outside the bubble now, we're seeing a lot of changes. I think if we walked into... I have no doubt in my mind that if we walked into our old jobs, we put on the gold lame vests and the black suits, and which we all wore the same, by the way. Julia wore the exact same outfit, except it was a skirt. And we walked in there. I have no doubt we could do the job just as good as we did the last time we were there. But I also have no doubt that things have probably changed so drastically that it would be difficult that first half day.
Yeah.
Because the town has changed so much.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know things like
No, my knowledge base is gone.
You know what's interesting? There was one of these clickbait things.
Yeah.
10 things never to do in Las Vegas. I said, all right, I got to look at this.
Yeah.
So I go there, and it was funny is because I didn't like the way that they couched it. They could have put it in the positive, because some of the things were couldn't disagree with any things that they said. In fact, some of them I thought, this is really good.
Sure.
But they would say, like, never forget sunscreen. Well, why don't you put it in the positive and just say bring sunscreen? Well, that makes sense. Never forget to tip. Good, I like that one. But they had another interesting one there that I wasn't aware of. I never thought of, which was never use the ATMs on the Strip, because they charge you such an exorbitant fee. And I thought, well, being a local, I never did use one. I never thought about that was something.
Yeah. $5.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
so,
they just paste into the wall.
Yeah.
And keep your key. Don't put your key in your wallet.
Yeah.
The credit cards will erase your key, and you'll be walking down 100 miles from your Venetian room.
And he'll yell at everyone. Yeah.
And then you'll end up throwing your card at somebody.
That's right.
And the best way to hold it by the corner there. That way, they're not hurt so much.
That's right. The people have been throwing shit at me for years, guys. John, thank you again, co-host of the year, I would say. Julia, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And juliashoop.com. Give me that blog address for upcoming blogs.
Yeah, compassinthestorm.com.
Compassinthestorm.com. Julia's books. I'm not even going to bother. You read off your books, and everybody go to Amazon, subscribe, get all these books, but read your current books. What are their names?
So we've got Carved in Stone, Serial Killer Thriller. Don't give it a bad rating. I warned you of the content.
That's right.
Next, Barren Waters.
Yes.
Science fiction. And then I've got Woven Realms and Woven Quests.
Outstanding. And our the second Vanessa Stone, it's in your head.
Oh,
Is it
kind
on paper?
of. No,
No, not on paper.
It's a rough outline on paper and a lot of research, but
All right.
no story yet.
Some people like it rough.
Yeah.
Apparently not that woman.
Not the woman.
I would like to know what she does read.
Me too.
I know.
But juliashoop.com. Check her out. Check her out on Amazon. Julia, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks to our sponsor, MRS Events, Models, Entertainment, and Beyond.
And Hot Chicks.
And Hot Chicks, that's right. They don't do explosions, no pyro, but that's fine. We'll just take the Hot Chicks. But MRSevents.com, actually MRS-events.com for all of your entertainment needs while you're in Las Vegas. They're a great local company. For John and Julia, this is Jamey. Thank you very much, and we will see you next week. Thanks to everyone listening and watching. You can catch the Pod Bay Door on the Podbean app or any of your favorite podcast apps, including iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, and Stitcher Radio. You can watch the show on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast. Please download, like, and subscribe. Our social connectivity screen is coming up. Check in with us on Facebook, Twitter, and WordPress. The Pod Bay Door is closed and talent is out. Hey everybody, thank you very much for tuning into the show. We would love to hear your show suggestions and comments. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, please click to subscribe. You can also connect with us on Facebook using @PBD Podcast, on Twitter using @TPBD Podcast, and on WordPress at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com.